This is a 1972 Plymouth Roadrunner with a little bit of a twist to it. These guys did not come this way, but this particular one houses a 440 HP, a real HP motor, not just a standard old 440 engine. This one is a steel crank HP 440 six-pack engine. It has a trio of Hawley carburetors on top of an Edelbrock aluminum intake manifold that would have been a correct manifold for a A12 car back in 69 and a half. It has the correct style cast iron exhaust manifold still on it. It has a set of original equipment valve pan covers, Presto light distributor with the vacuum advance still hooked up and functional. Heater hoses are hooked up for the passenger compartment. New alternator installed on it. You can see the engine's been out and a complete rebuild and a restoration on the vehicle. It has power steering. It has power brakes in the front. It has a clutch fan with a nice drag to it, so that clutch assembly is still good on it. The correct heavy-duty, high-flow, high-capacity radiator that they came with the correct fan shroud also intact. Water, I keep hitting my head on this part of the hood. Windshield washer reservoir is correct for the car, and the hoses are still hooked up also for the windshield washers. Overflow tank for the radiator. It has an MSD system in the front here, also an auxiliary transmission cooler in the front. The numbers are still on the radiator core support, which means this car has never suffered any trauma, never had any issues whatsoever with damage on the front end of it. So the numbers are here and very legible, and agree to the fender tag, which is still intact for the vehicle, which also agrees to the VIN tag that's on the dashboard that Devin's going to show you pictures of. Really a great looking car. Engine compartment's very clean and well kept. There's no leakage whatsoever evident on the engine, on the top part of the motor anyway. We'll see a little bit better once we get underneath it. But very clean, sanitary looking engine compartment for a super hyped up 1972 Plymouth Roadrunner. We're going to go around it and show you the rest of it now. Hi, you're at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and today we're going to give you a kind of an overview of a 1972 Plymouth Roadrunner with a little twist to it. This guy's not a 340. This thing is a 446 pack at this point in time. Paint on it is obviously above a driver quality. It's much greater than a driver quality, or much nicer than this car ever was released with in 1972. And if you look at the gaps on the hood and the alignment of the fender to the hood and the front header panel, everything is lined up just as nice as you'd ever hope it to be. Roadrunner designation on the front. The chrome on the front of the car is nice and appears to be a crack right here just from shrinkage through the years, and also another one here, Roadrunner designation. The chrome on the bumper is as nice and fresh as it was in 1972 when the car was released. The parking lights in the front are amber, just the way they should be. They have the mini spoilers on the front, which would have been an optional on this car. The grill area in the front also is nice and not chipped up or marked up in any way. The front end of this car is very straight and nice, and the paint is, again, much better than a driver quality finish, and the striping just adds a lot of pop to this car. Fantastic looking vehicle. The sides of the paint on the sides is just the way it is on the top, just as fresh and clean and deep. Nice finish. There's no orange peel whatsoever to it, absolutely none. Set of 14-inch rally wheel, or I'm sorry, 15-inch rally wheels. The way this car would have come from the factory with BFG white letter tires on them. Nice legible VIN tag, still houses its original six-sided rivets that they were released with. Top of the dashboard, as you can see, Devin showing you that the dash is not cracked up or distorted in any way, and the part where it goes to the windshield, nice and fresh and clean. Door gaps, look at this. That's what you hope to see on every car, is a door gap that is as even as this is in the front and the back, and the fitment of the door to the quarter panel. Chrome in the door handles, a little tiny bit of patina, but originality. Window wipes, whiskers is just as fresh and nice as they'd ever hoped to find. window fitment. Really, really nice on this car. This car is a real Roadrunner. It's an RM23 H-Code car, so it is a Roadrunner. Door panels, again, originality. Okay, the interior of the vehicle appears to be the original interior. It doesn't appear to have been redone. It's really totally amazing. The door panels don't have any cracks or marks or deterioration whatsoever on them. The armrests are still original. And again, the seating area, front and rear, both appear to be original material on it yet. It has a quadrant of gauges in the dash, plus a speedometer and a tach. Power steering, like we noted underneath the hood. The dashboard isn't cracked up whatsoever, and the headliner is nice in this car too. There's no deterioration whatsoever there. Again, you're going to see in Devin's high-resolution pictures the area in front, where your hinges and everything are. Everything is just nice and clean and fresh. Nothing deteriorated or dirty. Same as the door jambs themselves, just as nice as you have to find. Doors closed and everything shuts and seals up just as it should. Roadrunner designation on the side. Very dramatic graphics package on these cars in 71 and 72. They really went overboard with their graphics on the car. You can't see it in the film, but I'm telling you, this material is reflective. So when light shines on this at night, it does have reflective graphic tape on it. Pretty neat. Side of this car is just exemplary. Obviously, it's not laser straight. It's got a Coke bottle shape to it, you know, flared out rear fenders, flared out front fenders. But the door alignment is such that you can't tell that it has doors on it standing here looking down the sides of the car. Around the back, the rear deck is the same as the hood. You can see the gaps around the hood to the fender to the rear of the car, just as nice and linear as they could possibly be. Again, the bumper fitment in the back, which I neglected to mention in the front. There is a rubber bumperette in the front, and you also have bumperettes in the back here, rubber bumpers, which were an option on this car. Chrome in the back bumpers is as it should be. Has a big set of pipes coming out underneath it, the way Plymouth did those. Optional rear spoiler on the car. Adds a little bit of a sporty flair to it. The battery in this car is housed in the trunk. It gives a little bit better weight distribution on the car. The original style spare and jack and handle are still in the vehicle. And if you notice, the fenders in the back, the quarter panels still house their original sound deadener that was installed by Chrysler back in that era. Everything on this car is just as nice and original as you would hope to find, other than the driveline and the color, because the color's been changed to a grabber blue type, petty blue type of color in the vehicle, and the engine obviously now is a 446 pack. Roadrunner designation on the back. Down this side is going to be the same as the other. Just a really great looking car. The hat rack in the back houses 2 auxiliary speakers. Aftermarket, of course. The paint on the car is just as fresh and clean as you'd ever hope to find. Same on this side as the other. Window fitment, you can see just as nice as you'd ever hope to find on a car. And again, look at the gaps and the fitment of the door to the quarters to the front fender. A little bit of patina on this one, just the same as we found on the other side. Sport mirrors, both sides. I believe that one is remote adjust on that side. This one, of course, is not. And you can see the way the doors open and close. Everything is just as nice and fresh on this side as it was on the other. The lumber on the dash still appears to be nice, and it's not peeling anywhere. Carpet is nice and fresh looking. The jambs on this are the same as they were on the driver's side. Just nice and fresh. And again, doors close just the way they should, and everything lines up as it should. Correct style Mopar antenna on it, trim around the front windshield, the same as it was on the back windshield. There's no marks or dents or deviations from it being installed improperly. And again, rally wheels. Everybody's choice for a Mopar right now is a rally wheel with the trim rings and the centers. White litter, Goodyear tires. The car is a real RM Roadrunner. It is not a Belvedere that was made into a Roadrunner. This guy started life as a real Roadrunner. Obviously, it's got the Roadrunner graphics on it, which really give it a lot of pop. Has a 446 pack, Hypo 440 in it at this point. You can't buy a better running, nicer engine than that guy has under the hood right now. The color now is a petty blue color, and again, the fitment and everything is just as fresh and nice as you'd ever hope to find. This is a fantastic car. I haven't driven it yet, but we are going to in a few minutes here. And the car is just as fresh and clean as you would ever hope to find one. Take a look at it because it's available in Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. Finally, down in Florida, we got some decent weather, down in the 40s. I love it. Finally got some decent temperatures. Underpinnings of our 72 Plymouth Roadrunner. Obviously not the original motor, it is a 440 hypo engine. Sway bar still intact in the front end, the way it should be for a Roadrunner. Power disc brakes in the front. The tie rod ends all look nice and fresh on it. The gear reduction starter, cooling line still hooked up for the automatic transmission, which has a deeper pan on it with the provision that you can change oil in it without removing the pan. No leaks from the bell housing area or the engine, which you can see is a fresh rebuild. No leaks whatsoever on it. It has the standard cast iron exhaust manifolds going into a set of, I'm going to call them 2.5-inch primary pipes with an H-pipe crossover, giving it a little bit more mid-range and top end on it. A couple jack marks on the subframes just from usage through the years. You can see them, just a couple of superficial marks from jack stands or jack being jacked up through the years. Again, no leaks on the drive line, including the speedometer and the tail shaft. Everything is just as nice and fresh as you'd ever hope to find on this car. This extra big guy you see coming here, that's the primary cable from the battery, which is now located in the rear of the vehicle. Original sound deadener still intact on the floor pans, which are the original floor pans. They have not been removed. Parking brakes still hooked up and functional. Original fuel line still on the passenger side. Original brake line still on the driver's side. So there's a lot of originality underneath this thing. There's you see what I got, 200 chassis mufflers. They appear to be like a turbo style muffler. Going to have a little bit more sound to them than the standard under chassis Mopar mufflers do. 7 on the left, 6 on the right, or other way, 7 on the right, 6 on the left. Springs compensate for torque bias. The brake drums in the rear are obviously drum brakes, but they're the heavy-duty brakes that came with it. They'd be 11 by 2.5, I believe, in the rear of these guys. There is the optional sway bar assembly that came with these as an option in 1971 and 72. 8 3/4 rear end, heavy-duty Mopar rear end. Nobody breaks those, especially with an automatic. Set of air shocks in the front. In the rear, new shocks in the front, but these are newer air shocks in the rear of the vehicle. The subframes going back toward the crossover in the back are fresh and nice as could possibly be hoped for. Drop downs in the quarters are original. Remember, the quarters were original from the sound deadener that you could see inside the trunk. Wheel wells, everything as it all conforms together in the rear as it was in 1972. Pipes going out back, I'm going to call them 2 1/4 also. Those are 2.5. I'm going to call these 2 1/4. Going into a similar style set of megaphone type exhaust tips out back. Gas tank is the original gas tank. A couple of little tiny superficial dinghies in it, but other than that, the strapping and everything is all original. Really a nice car underneath, and you can see again there's absolutely no leakage whatsoever on the drive line. A lot of originality with the sound deadener and the original floor pan, subframes, everything undisrupted. Nice looking original car underneath here. Very, very solid car. Okay, we're in our overachiever 72 Roadrunner with a 446 pack in it at this point. Horn, Roadrunner horn, and it does work. Speedometer I know is going to work. The tachometer is not working, but it does have an MSD box on it, which is really common for Mopar tachs not to function if they have an MSD on them. I think there is a system now that does compensate for that and allows the tach to work, but I'm not sure of that. But I do know that every one we have with an MSD doesn't work. Oil pressure nice and high, just the way it's supposed to be. Fuel is it's almost full in this thing. Wow, that's amazing for us. Temperature just starting to come up. We just fired it up. Alternator functioning. You can see it's charging as it should. Radio. Devin, you're on your own here, buddy. I don't know how, if it works, it doesn't work. It's a radio. There's a radio in it. Wipers functioning as they should. And they go down to rest just like they should. Turn signal to the left, working as it would and should. Turn signal right the same way. You can see it's blinking away. I think that's it. The remote mirror I just adjusted and it works fine. Let's go for a ride, see what this guy runs like. First chance I got to drive it. Yeah, it's a great running car. It got a nice sound to it, not objectionably loud. Those turbo mufflers are nice as kind of like a Flowmaster sound. They got a nice deep throaty sound, but not objectionable. No hands on the steering wheel, going straight. Just a nice, nice straight running car. We're going to try brakes with no hands here. A little tiny pull to the left, not bad, but a little tiny bit. Might be just tire pressure. Again, a great sound on this car. A nice steering response. Speedometer is working as it should. That appears to be fairly accurate. We're going about a little over 50 right now, but it is a 35-mile-an-hour zone, so I can't afford another ticket. Nice tight car. It has a nice sound to it. Nice. We're going to turn around here at the bank and give it a little shot coming back here so you can get a better idea of what it pulls and what it sounds like. But it's a 446 pack, so it's going to be pretty strong running car. Let this guy get a little bit ahead here. We'll give this thing a little shot for you here. Yeah, it's about 85. We better shut that off. Nice running car. It pulls like it should. It definitely pulls like a 446 pack. Should have had oughta. And it has a great sound to it. Again, now it's going down the road straight as an arrow. And, let me try the brakes again. Now the brakes are okay. It just needed the brakes. Nice running car. Very tight. Nice precise steering on it. No looseness whatsoever in the vehicle at all. Got a great sound. This is a nice car. If you're in the market for a hyped up 72, 71 Plymouth Roadrunner, new body style Roadrunner, then this is your guy. It's got a great color combination, reflective striping, great looking graphics, phenomenal interior in it. It does have seat belts in the front. Devin, I don't know if there's any in the back or not, but headliner, everything in this car is just as fresh and nice as you'd hope to find in one of these guys. It's a nice car, really nice car.